the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial Ballistix.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back once again with the Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Ballistix and Crucial, and our apparel partners are none other than 656. It's going to be your boy Aggressive joining you once again with none other than Assassin and Salty. And hey, I feel a little bit left out here, man. I don't have a jersey, but it's completely fine. I think that Assassin, he can start it all off. How excited are you, my man? You're looking fly, you're looking clean, and Salty, just as beautiful as ever.
Definitely. I mean, very excited to kickstart off season 3 with our brand new sponsors and, of course, our brand new merch as well, which will be available to you guys really, really soon. So stay tuned for those updates. Don't forget to follow our socials for that. But Aggressive, the top 16 teams, we've got them ready, and it's going to be a banger one. Season 3 is going to be all about shine and glory, and I can't wait to kick things off with as well.
The main thing that I really do want to highlight here, ladies and gentlemen, is that what we saw back in Season 2, we already knew the names of the teams. They were teams that were making massive strides in Season number 1. They came over to Season number 2 to prove themselves to be different, and they have done so, building up a storyline that we love entirely. Consider something here. It was a story of the underdogs right from the very beginning of Season number 2. Season number 2, entirely up till the very end almost, it was a story of an underdog. Reckoning Esports taking everyone by storm. At the very end, they lost it all out. And then it was TEAMXO just swooping in from the shadows, being able to take out every single team, and then go up against the side of Velocity right at the very end, where due to a couple of shortcomings, they were just not able to take them down. And it was Velocity being able to take the throne for themselves. But at the same time, just imagine the storylines that the teams were building. Imagine how much growth that they have shown throughout the entirety of that season. And now in Season number 3, we're probably going to be seeing a completely new, different dynamic here. We don't really know what to expect. So the thing is, Season number 3 is a story of the new kids. Every single one of the teams here, it's very different. So let's head on down over to the top 16 teams and see exactly who we're going to be seating up against one another, because Salty, the thing is, there are a lot of big names here, but at the same time, you can already see there are a ton of new names, a ton. And
exactly. I mean,
it's a lot of X factors all around the board.
You cannot even expect what these teams are gonna come up with, and honestly, it's something which really excites the entire tournament. I feel like today is gonna dictate how the entire tournament is gonna pan out. But then you look at these new teams, you look at these new sites. Also, we have different regions coming in as well in this season's Gauntlet. So that basically means that you're gonna see some different form of Valorant. I'm expecting it's gonna be meta versus meta slapping each other. But then you also expect the big teams, right, the experienced team, to just continue their run of form and continue their dominance, because you always want that difference between tier 1 and tier 2 teams, right? When that establishment is already there, you can expect the tier 2 teams to improve consistently. But then I feel like the competitive integrity is just there when the tier 2 teams match up to the tier 1 teams and give us the best show possible.
Speaking of the side of the tier 1s and the tier 2 teams, we do need to consider what happened in the previous season of Season number 2. It was a win from the side of Velocity. So in this case, they're going to be your seed number 1. And right off the get-go, TEAMXO, they're going to be your seed number 2. And in this situation, when you consider Group A and Group B, they are going to be separated. They are not going to be facing one another until they get through the group stages, and then face each other off in the playoffs. So they're going to be separated almost instantly. And hey, as we're talking about the side of Velocity, we can't really forget about the team now, can we? So let's head on down over onto their team profile and see exactly what they're going to be cooking for us throughout this entire intense season. But you do have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, that these are the stats from the previous season. We are showcasing them to you just to highlight exactly what these teams have been doing throughout their entire journey. And in season number 2, man, honestly, Assassin, Deathmaker, he started everything off with a bang, that's for sure.
Well, you can't really forget the fact that Deathmaker wasn't part of the entire season 2, right? He came in between. They had a roster shuffle and they paid the penalty for it as well. But I feel as you're bringing in Deathmaker, right? Now remember, this MW1 was there till like the start of season 2, and Deathmaker, when he chimed in, look at the stats: 278 kills. I know, right? 278 kills, 211 deaths, 41 assists, and an ACS of 266. The guy is just an absolute animal in the server, and I can't really, I can't imagine what he's gonna do in season 3, because right now Velocity Gaming are looking oh so goddamn good. And the thing is that Velocity Gaming, not only once, they are champions twice. They won season 1 and now season 2. And as we head on over towards season 3, with these newer teams moving in, maybe a hat trick, you never know. But Velocity Gaming, with the stats that they have got right in front of your screens, it definitely looks like an easy one for them.
Gonna be difficult at the same time, because consider something, Assassin. In the previous season, it was a very known quantity for them. They knew what to expect from the teams. They've scrimed against them. They played against them for so long, through years and years. Even in other tactical shooters, they've played against them. But now things are a little bit more different. A lot of the squads showing up now, they're from completely different regions. Some of them are from the tier 2, tier 3 scene that have now risen up to the tier 2 and tier 1 scenes, and are now trying to take a crack at Velocity and, of course, the side of TEAMXO. It's going to get a lot more spicy and a lot more difficult as well as we head on down over to the C2 team for the side of TEAMXO. So let's head on down over onto their team profile and see exactly what they're going to be cooking up for us. And considering their stats here, Salty, you can already see that their stats are very impressive. 418, 484, 511, 427, and 485. These guys just tore through every single team in the previous season, but right at the very end, to go up against a Titan as Velocity, they were just not able to do it.
Exactly. I mean, you look at the kills, they're probably greater than my entire career's kills in every single game. 484. I can't even imagine that. But all right. Let's not go hard on that. But I really want to point out the fact that Ghost, his addition to this team, his work like charm. Him being the jet for this side. TEAMXO, they were really experimenting on who the perfect jet would be. They worked it out on side. They worked it out on different players. But now with Ghost coming in, I feel like he's that calm and composed fragger who can get kills every single time. You have these players who play unorthodox styles in the form of Excali, of Blackhawk, who gets in obnoxious positions. But then you try and evade all those players, there's suddenly Ghost in front of you, and Ghost is not going to miss his shots. I feel like his addition to the side, even though you see like he has like 485 kills, which might look like lesser than what Wimp has as compared to like 511 frags, but that difference that he creates is immaculate. And the fact that he has been the top MVP for the side, he has been contributing every single game, is something which really results in TEAMXO's consistency. So of course I feel like I guess he is going to be their main man for the next season as well. But with Blackhawk and Wimp in top form in the ending stages of season 2 as well, I feel like this team is ready to get the championship. But then again, we know who do we have at the top? And of course, Velocity Gaming, they're not an easy nut to crack.
Well, I have something to add there, Aggressive. The thing is, TEAMXO, right? We know for a fact that at the start of the Gauntlet Season 2, they were looking pretty strong. The reason Wimp has 511 kills is the fact that he's the clutch master for the team, and the way he has been playing. I guess 8 or 9 out of 10 times during the player spotlight for the side of TEAMXO, we see Wimp in there, because every single time this man comes clutch for the team, and he always is there to just, lift up the entire team as well. Blackhawk, on the other hand, at the start of season 2 had an amazing stat, but then towards the very end, some, I wouldn't say bad plays, but then something that is unexpected coming out from the side of TEAMXO, as they were not able to perform. I'm not really sure what happened there, but well, we hope for the very best.
Yeah, it was a little bit questionable. But hey, we're going to be talking a lot more about the side of TEAMXO later. But at the same time, we need to focus on a lot of the other teams. You got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, the first team and the second team, they've already been chosen. They have been separated, Group A and Group B. They have their Titans, they have their Juggernauts all set in stone. Now let's see who are going to be the Davids to try and take down these Goliaths in this situation as we start up the randomizer and pick up the first team for Group A here, ladies and gentlemen. And let's see who's it really going to be this time around, because I'm interested, to say the very least, because I'm expecting the first initial team to be something. Okay, when will this stop? Okay, finally, it did go in for a stop. And which team is exactly this assassin?
That's Salt Esports, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's Salt Esports.
Yes, turn around, Salty. Turn around.
I should actually turn around and show the name at the back, but then I can't really do that. But I'm actually excited for this team. I mean, no connection,
Not just
honestly.
because of your name, of course.
Yeah,
Exactly, it's just a namesake, but as a team as well, I've seen them play a little bit. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, so let's head on down over onto one more of the randomizer and see who's going to be going in for the side of Group B. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be breaking down every single one of these squads after we pick out 4 teams for the 4 sides. But let's see, it's actually going to be True Rippers. True Rippers versus TEAMXO. That's going to be a classic one for sure, Sas.
Yeah, that definitely is going to be an insane one, by the way. True Rippers and Salt. Well, Salt moving in over towards Group A alongside Velocity is actually a really good thing. Let's move over towards the team profile for the side of Salt Esports, by the way. Take a quick look at their roster and the stats from the qualifier stages of Season 3. And, well, I'm not going to lie. 2 teams made their way in towards the Gauntlet Season 3 from Pakistan, and it's Salt Esports and Team Exploit. So, interestingly, we are very excited to see both of these teams make their way into Gauntlet. If you guys don't know already, we opened up our... we opened up our event for Pakistan and the rest of the regions as well. So, interestingly, Salt and Exploit, they made their way in from the qualifiers. Both of these teams we know have immense firepower, and the way these guys play, especially Team Exploit. We're definitely going to be talking about them later, but Salt Esports right now in front of your screens. You guys can see their stats already. It's not the best, I wouldn't say the best, because, qualifier stages is not like the group stages of the playoffs. But as we move over towards Season 3, we're definitely going to be seeing an immense firepower coming out from the side of Salt Esports. All of these players, especially Beast, Jivix, Stranger, all of these guys are amazing support players from the side of Salt Esports. And not to forget Trick, right? The guy definitely plays tricks against all of these other teams as well, with his insane jet plays, his maneuverability, his movements is just outstanding. So Salt Esports looking very, very good when we consider the stats from their qualifier games. But really looking forward to seeing what exactly they're going to do in Group A. Aggressive.
It's going to be an interesting one, to say the very least, because Salt Esports, we don't really have any sort of information on them. We don't know what to expect from them. We don't know how strong they're going to be to go up against a lot of the teams in our region. So in a way, it's like a breath of fresh air at the same time. Of course, not only just because that Salty is going to be real happy that there's another Salt squad on the server. Other than that, I personally do believe that having some new blood join into our rankings will shape the scene to be something a little bit more different. I'm really hoping to see some wacky strategies maybe coming on down from them, because if JVX is playing that Sky quite often, the double initiator composition, yes, it's very potent, it's very powerful, but on certain maps, maybe the breach coming on down through will be something a little bit more different as well. I really want to see how they play the double initiator composition, how they are able to utilize it against the top caliber teams that we have on our side. And you never really know, because when it comes down to new squads from different regions, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. But hey, we're not going to have a lot about the side of Salt Esports. We got to talk about our big guns as well as we head on down over onto the team profile for the side of True Rippers and see exactly what they're going to have cooking up for us here. Because when you consider True Rippers as a squad, Salty, they don't really require an introduction, but at the same time, hey, it's our job. We got to walk right through these guys.
I mean, why not? Just give them a grand entrance. Just lay down the red carpet, because these men, they've been very, very consistent. They've worked as a unit for quite some time, and they're just giving in results. I guess their performance in last season was really, really good. And this season, I'm expecting even more. At this point, they're so experienced in the Gauntlet that you expect them to go to at least the playoffs and then play even better from that particular point on. But Paradox, we know that this man has been in the MVP standings for quite some time, and the 350 frags, they just talk about themselves. You look at the average combat score, a 263 average combat score for a tournament that lasts this long. that is insane consistency. And when you consider that that includes his highs as well as lows, yeah, maintaining that number is really, really difficult.
Yeah, but when you think about consistency, True Rippers as a squad, they do always come to mind. But at the same time, Assassin, it felt like True Rippers, they fell so short as soon as it came down to the very end of the gauntlet. It felt like they were not the squad that we saw initially, because we were hyping up True Rippers so much throughout the starting of season number 2 that when it came down to the very ends of the brackets, it just felt like they fell off massively in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, True Rippers, they had their highs and lows throughout season 2, in my opinion. Starting off the season, they had a pretty good pace. Like, I would say they had a good momentum. They were doing really good. Paradox, One Tap God, both of them were doing fantastic. But towards the very end, I felt as if something was missing. Something just wasn't working out for the Sara True Rippers. And I'm not really sure what happened there. Maybe their opponents just got better, or maybe True Rippers had a little bit of an issue or something like that. Communications. I don't know what it was, but it was looking so desynchronized. I mean, Paradox every single time consistently maintaining their performance, but what happened to One Tap? What happened to Relic Master? We even saw most of the games we had Crosshair or One Tap got absent and Bones chiming in as well. Bones actually played really good, by the way. Out of all the games that he played, these are the stats that he had, and those are pretty good. I mean, Bones did not play a lot of games, but hey, True Rippers, I'm not really sure what happened, but something was off. I actually did not get time to have a word with the Sara True Rippers, but hopefully they get all their issues and errors fixed and go back to the drawing board, get everything sorted for season 3.
Yeah, season number 3 is where it's all at for True Rippers to come on back even stronger. Will they be able to rise up to the challenge, though, is the real question against a lot of the new squads that are going to be on this board. And hey, speaking of the board here, let's go on back to the live draw screen. And so let's head on down over to the brackets right at the very beginning, though, ladies and gentlemen, because we do really need to see exactly how the teams are going to be shaking on up. And on Group A, we do see that Salty Esports and Velocity, they're going to be going up against one another. And on Group B, TEAMXO and True Rippers. So in a way, Salty, I think that, hey, there's going to be an El Clasico on one side, Group B. It's going to be TEAMXO going up against True Rippers. This is the fight that we have seen in season number 1, season number 2, and now we're going to be noticing it on season number 3. But on Group A, the first 2 teams, I do believe that it's shaping up to be something really spicy and salty at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, it's all right. A lot of puns over there, I guess. Yes, I'm not really sure, but exactly. But I'm not really sure about the uncertainty. Look at this. Salty Esports, they've been up in the pecking order along with Team Exploit in the Pakistan region. And the Pakistan region as an entire Valorant scene is pretty darn good. They have strong teams. And the fact that Salty Esports as well as Team Exploit, they've been at the top of the scene right now. And they're going to go against the top of our scene. That's going to be Velocity Gaming. Who do you think is going to lead the group? I have no information about it. I have no clue about it. But then again, if Team Exploit also draw in type Group A, then that's going to be some crazy stuff that I would love to see.
Yep.
That is for sure. Now it's time to start up the crazy one more time. So let's start up the randomizer and see exactly who's going to be going down over towards the side of Group A. And I don't really feel like any of these teams really want to go down to Group A. One juggernaut already being there, and there's another juggernaut just waiting for them in the shadows. And it's only friends going on down over on towards the side of Group A here, Assassin.
Nice. Only friends, yeah. Well, we definitely will go into it. We'll go in detail about Only Friends later when we move in towards their team profile. There are some interesting facts and some interesting things that we want to talk about Only Friends. But let's run the generator once again and get the team that is going to be playing in Group B. Yeah. Let's go. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be SHUL, Valor?
I think
I don't know. Maybe Exploit.
It's going to be weird.
It's
Valor. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, how is it that Team B is pretty much all of the L classes was happening all at once? Team Valor, True Rippers, TEAMXO, and on the other side, Velocity is getting all of the new kids. I think that this is gonna be a fun one indeed. Moving on.
It definitely is gonna be. It definitely is gonna be a fun one where it's like the students learning from the senseis, the masters, and who are already dominating. Who are already dominating for like 2 seasons in a row. But yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, let's run the randomizer one more time and see exactly who's going to be going up once again on towards the side of Group A here, ladies and gentlemen, because now I do believe it's going to be weird. Oh, wait, no, it's not going to be weird.
Reckoning.
Reckoning?
Yeah.
Okay. Reckoning versus Velocity. Once again, another fight that we have seen quite frequently back in season number 2. It's going to be an interesting one again, but it's like, I don't know how side of Group A is shaping up to be. It's just full of mystery. Reckoning is the only squad that I can actually quantify for the side of Group A going up against Velocity. But once again, let's run the randomizer and see who's going to be hitting them down over towards Group B here, ladies and gentlemen. Because now...
My prediction is going to be Saql.
I guess it's going to be ENIGMA.
Weird.
I guess ENIGMA. Oh, Exploit. Exploit.
Okay. Finally, one of the new kids go on down over to the B side. But the thing is, I don't know, man. Normally, whenever we are doing a draw event, we can kind of say that there's going to be a group of death. Something is shaping up to be a group of death. And now I have no idea what's a group of death anymore. I don't think we even have one, but we're going to be talking a lot more about that a little bit. So let's head on down over onto the team profile for the side of Only Friends to see exactly what their sides have in store for us here, Assassin. I'm going to let you talk about this squad in general because I do believe that you have a little bit more of an idea about them.
And of course, if you guys do look at the names coming out from this team, right? The player names, of course. We got Logi, we got Bullseye, Rex, Knife Jester, HVS, and Kev. So yeah, these guys are a bunch of friends who came together and formed a team, and thus the name Only Friends. They were part of a team in season 2 as well. The thing is, Team Only Friends, they had a little bit of a roster shuffle, and they got a brand new name as well. Logi came in alongside Kev, if I'm not wrong, and Bullseye chimed in as well. Knife Just HVS, and Kev were already part of the team. Logi and Bullseye chimed in. And I mean, it's pretty interesting. See, their stats are not gonna be that impressive, but when we're going to be seeing them in the group stages and in the entirety of season 3, I'm pretty sure that they have got much to offer. Because Team Only Friends, looking at their performance coming out from season 2, okay, fine. It was something similar like a True Ripper story where they had a good start, but then they were falling short. The thing is that again, it was because of the fact that they had to have that roster shuffle and whatnot. So they were like, we'll just finish off, maintain our entire position in season 2 so that we can get into season 3, and then we are going to go ahead and form that new team, get that roster shuffle in, and moving over towards season 3 with a fresh new reset. Now that they're in season 3, I believe as if all of these players are going to do quite a lot, and especially the player to look out for in this team, actually 2 to look out for this team, is going to be Logi and Bullseye.
Personally say that Kev has been making massive strides throughout the entire season, because considering his last season's stats, you can see that Kev on that race has been causing a lot of commotion, but at the same time, he has been suffering from inconsistencies, and in a way, Bullseye is kind of on that same boat as well. I'm really hoping that Only Friends as a roster, they can work through a lot of the inconsistencies, because you do need to remember, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the entirety of the gauntlet, it is set up in such a way that it's a gauntlet. You need to fight through a lot of different teams. You need to play 7 consecutive games to showcase your worth throughout all of it. All of them are best of 3s. You need to keep on fighting. You need to keep on going, and you need to show growth, because if you want to go down over towards the playoffs, you need to make sure that you have consistency throughout all of your games. Yeah, 1 or 2 games, you can give it away here and there if you're trying to work things out. But after you give away those 1 or 2 games, you need to consistently put up points on the board. Otherwise, moving on down the line, your chances of getting into playoffs is pretty much negligible. And that's going to be the side of Only Friends for you, ladies and gentlemen. So let's head on down over onto the team profile for the side of Team Valor and see. Let's just see what they are going to have cooking up for us here, Salty. I'm going to hand over the mic to you. Tell us right through the squad, Mike.
No surprises, man. Team Valor, they were exceptional in last season. I feel like this was one team that improved leaps and bounds from like season 1 to then season 2. And now in season 3, I'm expecting even more for them. We know Team Valor, they went toe-to-toe against one of the top dogs. They went toe-to-toe against Global Esports as well. And now the fact that Team Valor, they are in season 3 in a group where you talked about, I feel like is kind of starting to take shape of group of death, yeah, they will have a lot of responsibility on their shoulders, especially when you look at players like Hunter, you look at Pasha Sahil, Pixels, Bullet. Bullet has been absolutely brilliant, but then again, we've always talked about his consistency. When he is in top form, he can rip apart the opposition and he can completely shatter the server. But then when he's not in form, the rest of the players, they've had a tough time working around him, and that is one of the key problems that Team Valor has been facing. Their biggest opposition is going to be themselves. They look at the mirror, they wake up, they look at the mirror, they'll have to face themselves. If they can get the consistency on their side, if they can get Buster, Stroke, and Bullet running in equal footing and with 100% of their potential, this team is unstoppable. But then again, at this point, my expectations are going to be much, much higher. I'm not expecting Team Valor to just make the playoffs or just survive the group and make it to the top 4. I want them to top the group. I want them to at least go to the finals, because this team does have the capability, and this roster has been sticking together for a long time right now. So they must have built the synergy, and they also have the experience to go along with it as well.
And when you have players like Hunter and Buster on your side, you have so much experience to work with, and you consider young blood. You got Bullet and Pasha. They're always going to be there. They're always going to be those players that you can rely on to get you entries onto sites if Buster is not able to do it. The thing is, once again, Team Valor, what they really do suffer from is a communication gap. They're insane when it comes down to their individual playstyles. But as soon as you try to consider them as a unit, and when it comes down to their strategies, they have a lot of different strategies. Like, I'll give them that their strategies are something they can always get behind. But the thing is, even if you have a really good strategy, you need to learn how to communicate it properly to your teammates, to know when to give the calls, to know when to back off, to know when to slow down. And for Team Valor, that calling, it's just not there. They need to have much more of a vocal person on their side that can actually hold them together as a unit. And I personally do believe that Team Valor, if one of them are able to step up and take that role, he's going to be the one to bring in the roster and, hey, send them to the finals just as you want, Salty. But at the same time, I do think that the finals could be a little bit far-fetched from them, because you do need to remember that this next team, they've been making massive strides throughout the entirety of season number 2. So let's head on down over to the team profile for the side of Reckoning Esports, ladies and gentlemen, because these guys, man, these guys. Assassin, how much have we talked about them, and how much have you hyped up this one team throughout the entirety of their group stages? We have seen them dominate the charts against every single team, other than Bulls.
I mean, of course, they have a Panzer, a tank, which can just, which can just go ahead and blow up all the other teams in
Or
the
run them
entire
down.
group, run them down, and just, by touching them, explode off and whatnot. But anyways, keeping that aside, right? Reckoning Esports, an amazing roster, which, started their journey of the Gauntlet from season 2. And the way they have been playing, man, every single player, Trist, Panzer, JN, UN, Bondef, and BRZ. BRZ hasn't played a lot of games. He's the 6th for the team. But yeah, Bondef, UN, JN, Panzer, and Trist. You guys can see the stats for yourself. Every single player in the team, no matter what role they are playing, they've got immense firepower. You look at the KD ratio. You look at the amount of kills that each and every one have got. You look at you look at the ACS. 3 out of the 5 players are already above 200. Juven and Trist, they're pretty close, 162 and 193 respectively. But still, the point is, all of these players are absolute aim stars, and combining that with their incredible locking down a site like a boss. Like, this guy in another tactical shooter was also an amazing anchor, and here in Valorant, I feel with that central role coming in as well, he's looking damn good.
His name is actually Trist Boss in the game. Like, remember, we actually used to call him Trist Boss, but he had his old IGN.
Yeah.
So, just as you said, he is the boss of the site. He's going to be the one, he's going to be the gatekeeper to try and let you enter onto the side. And this guy, he's not going to be letting you in anytime soon. I do believe that Reckoning Esports, they had a couple of roster shuffles with INQ now coming on back in and JN leaving the squad. I'm going to be unsure about that, but hey, still the firepower is going to be there, even if INQ makes it down over onto the matchup. We never really know what to expect, because Reckoning Esports as a squad, they have showed consistency throughout all of their games. And I'm really hoping that that consistency is going to be pushing them forward into the following matchup here as well. But hey, we've been talking about the side of Reckoning quite a lot. You can't really forget what other squads are waiting on towards the side of Group B now to lead. It's going to be the new kids around the ball, TEAMXO. Let's head on down over onto their team profile. And in a way, I'm kind of wondering, should I actually give the mic over to Salty or Assassin? Which one of you wants to take this one? Because personally, when I look at the stats, man, qualifier stats for shooter being
Okay.
361. Explain this to me, someone. What is this? What is this animal on the server that we are seeing?
Assassin, you want to take this?
I mean, I don't mind. The thing is, with the side of Team Exploit, right? It is a similar story. Like so, with Shooter, it's a similar story like SK Rossi, where Shooter is just set up to just go ahead and frag like a madman. The entire strategy for Team Exploit is sort of just funneling all of their resources onto Shooter so that he can go ahead and shoot heads. And that's exactly why his name is Shooter. But to be honest, man, I did not expect this coming out from Shooter.
Yeah. What is
Qualifier,
this?
I mean, qualifier games, guys, trust me, they're not a lot, by the way. I mean, not a lot of games. Like, you would see these stats out of players from teams who have played the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Shooter just got 361 kills and
From
an ACS of
qualifier.
300 from qualifier games. It's just insane, and it's illegal. Someone
Also,
has
the
to
disparity.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Right?
157 and 151. Dude, you
Yeah,
combine
their
both of their
entire-
kills, and still it's not enough to match it.
Their entire setup is to just funnel all the resources to Shooter. He goes ahead and pops heads. And Team Exploit, the way they just strategize each and every one of their moves. We have also seen Team Exploit. The best part is it is one of the team that also work around different strategies. So I've seen them on the map of Bind against in another tournament, of course. I saw them running a two controller setup. Actually, it was an interesting one. We had HSB on the Brimstone and Soul on the Viper, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, that was an interesting composition coming out from the side of Team Exploit, by the way. But yeah, they are a team that actually go ahead and experiment a lot of things. They have amazing shooters, and not just the player.
Shooter.
Amazing
Too many puns
fraggers.
in this one. Moment.
I know, right? Too many puns, man. Don't worry, we've got a lot coming throughout season 3, so don't forget to subscribe. But anyways, quickly gonna wrap up Team Exploit. HSB, an amazing brain coming out from the side of Team Exploit, man. This guy is so goddamn good. You guys are gonna see it throughout season 3. I'm not even gonna stress on it much, but yeah, definitely look out for Team Exploit on the side of Group B.
Gonna be an interesting one for sure. But hey, let's get a visual representation of where these teams are actually gonna be headed as we head on down over towards the brackets. And Group A. Ooh, this is gonna be a good one for sure. Group A is shaping up to be something interesting, but Group B, man, I think we already see the group of death. Never mind, I thought that the group of death is not gonna be happening, but yeah, Group B. Oh God.
Absolutely. I mean,
don't know.
you know what? I would have loved both Reckoning and Exploit in Group A because I believe these are the only two teams that can probably give a run for their money against Team Velocity Gaming. I saw Team Exploit take a lot of maps against Velocity Gaming, so they could have been a very potent opposition. They kind of remind me like Global Esports, and it would have been an interesting India-Pakistan story whenever these two teams met up. But well, Velocity versus Reckoning isn't really bad, is it?
It's not gonna be the worst of things because honestly speaking, that's another El Clasico in a way. But Reckoning, they have a lot of things to work on if they still do want to take down Velocity. Because if I remember properly, and statistics wise, when it was season number 2, Reckoning, the maps that they only did lose out to was against Velocity, and right at the very end, it was Force One to take them down as well when it came down to the playoffs. So in a way, Reckoning, they have a lot to prove moving on down the line, but hey, they're going to be able to do it. And a couple of the brackets, we're already halfway done here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's run up the randomizer one more time and see who's going to be joining the side of Group A to try and take out the juggernauts of Reckoning and Velocity.
SADUL.
I guess, yeah.
No,
Susport.
Hey, Salty, that's your fault. You called it and you got caught for it. So let's run the randomizer one more time. Sus Squad, we're going to talk about their sus plays in a little
I guess
bit.
M42.
Nah, not really.
I think FS.
God Particle?
Ooh.
Oh, ROG?
SADUL now.
Oh,
Okay,
SADUL.
fine.
Okay.
Okay. We called it. SADUL is going to be on the board for Group B. And Oh, dude, seriously, Group B is shaping up to be an actual group of death.
Yeah.
What is this? In the previous season,
It's like
we said that
a-
group of death doesn't exist. Now,
Yeah.
in season number 3, group of deaths are like, okay, you wanted a group of death, we're gonna give you something real good. So let's run the randomizer one more time. We're gonna pick out one more team here before we do go and down over onto that.
Looks like a similar story coming out from the Saris season 1, right?
Yeah,
We had Group B
number
as the group
one.
of death. Yeah.
Okay, Weird going on
Weird
to Group
Esports.
A. Okay, Weird has a lot of incredible players. We're going to be talking a lot
Yep.
more about them because we have a lot to break down for that spot. But let's run the randomizer one more time and see what's going to be headed over onto the side of Group B. I do believe that
look at
God
it.
Particles should be going over to B. Hey, if it's
Maybe.
God Particles, I'm done, dude. Okay, no, if it's God Particles or
Yeah.
Enigma, I'm done.
I guess it's gonna be ROG. No, never mind.
I told you, I
Probably
told
going to
you.
be Enigma.
Dude,
Okay.
my calls are so good. My calls are so good. Last time I called
You're
VLT
just
versus
lucky being
GE.
aggressive.
No. Last time I called VLT versus GE right off the very beginning, and this time I call God Particles, and they're going to be going over onto Group B. We're going to talk about all of these squads just a little bit, so let's head on down over onto the first team profile, ladies and gentlemen, and see exactly who we're going to be noticing right off the get-go. It's going to be none other than Sus Squad. And Assassin, do you want to talk about their Sus plays, or do you want Salty to take it?
To be honest, I'll go through Sus Squad, by the way. So the thing is, Sus Squad, right? Not really sus, by the way. Yeah, they
They're
they
sus
did
for the
not
judge
have.
plays.
They're sus for the judge place, that's for sure. That's no one can take that away from them. But they did not have the best of the performance, and yeah, they were able to maintain their position, and they made their way in towards season 3. The thing is, from the side of Sus Squad, right? The problem is season 3 have a lot of incredible teams with a lot of super high intense firepower. Now, if Sasquatch don't go ahead and upgrade themselves, they don't get themselves an entire upliftment, then it's going to be trouble for them to survive even in season 3. Because the best part is that they are going to be placed in Group A, remember, and we've got Velocity Gaming and the likes over there. So well, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to hope for the absolute best for the Sarasa squad. If they don't go back to the drawing board, if they don't upgrade themselves, if they don't update themselves with all of these newest strats that are coming out, then it's going to be trouble for them to survive in season 3. And we are going to go ahead and hope for the level best. We hope that they are going to retain their position for season 4 as well. In terms of their stats, though, it's not going to be that big of a deal because the entirety of season 2, they had their own ups and downs, but the best part is that they pulled up their game and they were able to survive to make it to season 3. So, yeah.
It was a long and hard road for them at the very end, Assassins. The squad, I don't know, they were a team that were improving at a really rapid rate, but their improvements were just not enough. It was so far in between. Sometimes they were taking massive strides. They were then going slow. They were going fast. There's no in between. They need to try and fix everything up there if they really do want to take down their opposition. But at the same time, we're talking about the side of Sus Squad. And now we're gonna have another team joining down on our ranks one more time. An old squad, honestly. We have seen them play previously back on the other sides, but now SADUL, they're back once again to show the world what they can do. And hey, Binks, he's right on the spotlight with all of his buddies on his side as well. So
Exactly. I mean, you always have that one team who enter the arena and then the audience cheer for them, right? The audience just erupt. And I just wish that the Gauntlet becomes a LAN event so that when SATUL enter the arena, there's going to be a different wave of audience cheers. But then, of course, we start off with Binks. And I mean, statistically, they've been good team. They've played under the banner of Team T69 in last season, and they've done a good job. But then they have new additions right now. I believe it's Batman and Ezzy who are joining them alongside.
yes.
So these new additions, I feel like they're gonna be the key for the new Team T69 who are playing under the banner of Team SATUL in the next in season 3. I guess those players are gonna be the key. Team T69, they've had good performances, but then they always struggle to get results in their favor. Like they get rounds, their unorthodox playing style, their supremely aggressive nature gives them rounds for sure, but then they kind of struggle to put those rounds in the bag and also get the map in the bag, right? They can pull off a map or two, they can jab at their opponents quite a lot, but they really struggle with the left hook and the finishing blue. And I want that knockout punch from Team SATUL. And if they manage to do that, if they can probably work out some good tactics and really rebuild themselves as a side, probably not go hard and aggressive right from the get-go and try and take things a little slow. I guess this team does have a lot of potential to make it big and make it to the playoffs, and then also hammer the big guys.
Yeah, the main thing that I really do want to address to the audience back at home is that there will be a little bit of confusion with the SAQL roster currently. The stats that we are showing are from the last season stats when they were still Team T69. The roster still had SMX and Stoner on their side, and now with the recent additions of Batman and Ezzy, we don't have the stats for that, but still, we wanted to show you something to give you a general idea of how this squad has been performing back in season number 2. They've performed their hardest, they were able to retain the squad, they're still going to be here, and still, they are now fighting once again in season number 3 with a brand new squad to shut down as many players as they possibly can. Changes are sometimes necessary in SAQL. With the change in their organization as well as the players, I do believe that things are going to be shaping up to be something spicy for them. But hey, we're talking a lot about the side of Group B. It's a group of death. We already know. You guys can all spam it in the chat. It's not prefix, but now it's time for the side of Weird Esports, ladies and gentlemen. Weird X Esports. This squad, the thing is, Assassin, I have heard a lot, and I mean a lot, about every single one of these players, and you can already see them on the side cards as well. Batlove being on their team with MF God, Rio as well. They're all incredible players. These are literal household names in the entirety of our scene. And now that they're on a roster together, I'm really interested to see how they're going to move forward.
Well, I mean, Weird Esports, especially Batlove, this is that fun player that you have to look out for the side of Weird Esports. I mean, forget one taps. Do you remember him?
Yoru play.
Exactly. Do you remember him just going ahead playing that Yoru? We both were casting that game on the map of Bind.
We lost
He
it.
pulled out his ultimate and we lost it. We completely lost it. I was like, what the hell is this guy on, man? And Batlove is just, again, another beast coming out from the side of Weird Esports. He's the player. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys can also get yourselves one using the QR code that's going to pop up. But yeah, Batlove, I feel as if, he's going to be that one player that is going to make all the difference on the side of Weird Esports. And I can't stress on this much, but Batlove, alongside all these support players coming out from the side of Weird as well, right? We've got Rio, who used to be ex-ROG Academy. You got Storm and MF God as well, who are amazing support players. Deadly, 10 and Batlove, they are the ones who are constantly switching between their agents. Sasmi, he used to be... Which team was Sasmi in, by the way? I forgot the name of the team. Sasmi was in one of the rosters, and he was playing in Season 2 as well. I'm not sure, though. But yeah, Sasmi, Batlove, MF God, Rio, Storm, and Deadly 10. Weird Esports looking really, really strong. And throughout the qualifier stages, they had a breeze as well, making their way in over towards Season 3. So as we move over to the group stages and the actual Season 3, we're going to be seeing quite a lot coming out from the side of Weird Esports. So definitely watch out for them.
Yeah, Weird Esports as a squad, from what I've seen from their scrim results and a couple of the matches that I have seen them play in, they're a squad that performed really well. I've been keeping tabs on them for a while, primarily because I do see this roster having a lot of promise to try and break into the Tier 2 scene. Not the Tier 1, but the Tier 2 scene. They're still an up-and-coming roster. This is a new squad. They're still working out the kinks, but hopefully through the Gauntlet, they will gain the experience that they need to push themselves that final inch forward to try and take down their opposition. It's going to be difficult, but I personally do believe that they are going to be the ones to bring in the hurt, to bring in the pain moving on down the line. That's going to be the side of Weird for you. But now, Salty, this is going to be a squad that we know and love. We have seen them together for so long, and I honestly didn't think I would ever see this name ever again. It's going to be God Particles. So let's roll their team intro here. And I don't know, it's like Assassin and me, we have known God Particles since forever. Like, come on. We have known this squad for ages. We know exactly what they're capable of. But Salty, I'm going to give you the mic because these are the players that we know and love. These are the players that we have connected to through the entirety of Season number 1, Season number 2, and we have seen their rise to fame. Consistently being able to head on down over to the 3rd position in Season number 1 Gauntlet and also in Season number 2. It's no easy feat, but God Particles, they're the team that actually did that.
Exactly. And you look at the man with the jet, right? Knight Rider. He has been holding that position in the MVP standings for like ever.
He's number one for a reason.
But also the fact that they're going to miss one of these guys, and that's going to be RVK. If I'm not mistaken, RVK is going to play for Team ENIGMA. And that basically means that this roster is going to miss one of their strong pillars. How that pans out, I'm not really sure. Have they tried and tested the new roster? Even that is unknown to me. Now, the rest of the four guys, they've stuck together for quite some time. You mentioned about season 1 and season 2, and this entire unit need not really break, but then we know that this is more of a professional scene and transfers do happen. Not really sure how God Particles in a cope up, but for sure, individual players, they have the caliber to put up the numbers on the board, to put up the kills, to put up the assists as well, and they can for sure trouble a lot of teams out there. But I'm always looking for a more of an overall storyline, and as a unit, God Particles are yet to be tested. So I really want to see how the new lineup actually pans out.
What Particles as a squad, we already know for a fact that Scargout, Nitrile, and Shivy, they're going to be tearing up the server, doesn't matter what happens. Shivy as well. The main thing with Shivy is that initially he was having such a rough time trying to adjust his role into being an initiator player. He's been playing initiator for a really long time, but it took him a while to, find himself to be comfortable on that position, to be that IGL for the squad. But over the months that he has been playing on the multiple iterations of the roster, the two main constants on that entire roster was always Scargot and Knight Rider. And the way he's able to lead these two, it's just absolutely beautiful. Whenever I see them play, it's like watching an orchestra every single time. Shivy has the back to Scargot and Knight Rider. They're playing the drums, they're playing the guitar. They know exactly what they need to do. The fact that they don't even miss a beat when they're playing together, it's one of the main reasons why God Particles, they're one of the squads that we always have to look up to try and possibly take it all away once again. And you never really know, get the third place or maybe even second and first, because now that they have tasted victory twice, they should be the ones to try and fight for that final push to get that trophy in their hands. And you never really know. Post a couple of Instagram photos as well, because that's what we all want. We want the glory, we want the fame, and that's what the Gauntlet is here for, to give you that glory, give you that flame, and also give you a massive prize pool as well. But hey, talking more about the squads a little bit later, let's head on down over to the live group draw. Let's head on down over onto the brackets, ladies and gentlemen, to see exactly who's going to be headed on down where. And Group A, you can already see things have shaped up to be something interesting. Sus Squad and Weird Esports going on down over towards the side of Group A. Two very unknown quantities because we don't really know how they have shaped themselves up and how they are going to be switching up moving on down the line. But for Group B here, Assassin, come on, dude, how much worse can this get? Come on, just throw in Enigma already. Just throw Enigma in there. I don't care anymore.
Well, I don't know if your wish is going to be fulfilled or not, but if it does, then yeah, Group B is going to be the group of death. But anyways, let's move over towards the randomizer and get our last four teams in so we can talk about them as well. Group A team now being selected. So it's going to be M42. M42? No. ROG Academy?
Nah, Enigma.
Enigma?
FS? I called it.
Oh, no.
I'm too good at this, man. I'm too good at this.
You just get lucky, man.
Yeah, no. That's not luck, man.
This gets better, dude. Like, FS could have gone towards...
Oh, M42. M42 in Group B.
Oh, damn. God, this is going to be hard.
Okay, now it's time. Now it's time for Enigma to join Group B as well, and then we are in for a treat.
No, I guess it's going to be Enigma to be going into Group A. Yeah, Enigma going into Group A.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Enigma going into Group A.
Thank God.
Thank
God.
Yep.
Okay.
It's gonna be
interesting.
What's
the last spot? Take a guess.
ROG Academy.
ROG
Okay.
Academy.
Wow. It's so hard I can't even take a guess. There's only one team remaining.
All right. The stage has been set, ladies and gentlemen. All the teams have been picked up at Group B. Ouch, that kind of hurts. It hits on a different level. It hits on a different level. This is worse than
Hashtag confirmed. Hashtag confirmed. Group of death.
Yes, we're going to literally do the hashtags on our Instagram. And hey, talking about our Instagram, make sure to go and leave a follow over there if you want to see exactly how the things are going to be shaping up and also the scheduling for every single one of these teams. But before we talk a little bit more about the group of death, let's first of all head on down over towards the side of FSESPORTS and their team profile and see exactly what they're going to be cooking up for us when it comes down to the roster. And FSESPORTS, we know for a fact that this roster has taken a lot of leaps and bounds in the way that they're playing every single one of their strategies. And they have showcased a lot of growth throughout their entire run in season number 2. But it's just the fact that they're still a new roster with the recent addition of iGod and Headshot. They haven't really been able to mesh together as a squad that well. But Assassin, my hopes that in season number 3, they've worked out their differences, are now playing perfectly well together as a unit, and the fact that they actually are still trusting of one another. Because it felt like in season number 2, there was a lot of trust issues between IGOT and the rest of his teammates.
I mean, see, FSE Sports, what I would say is, all right, so when it was FSE Sports, when they were Fangs, they had a pretty good run throughout season 1, and season 2 we saw them go ahead and revamp themselves as FSE Sports. They're no longer Fangs. FSE Sports, under this name, they had an amazing start. And yes, they did maintain their position, and they're now in season 3. But the thing that you need to consider is that FSE Sports is still not that, tier 1 team yet. I mean, FSE Sports, they still have ways to go. Against teams like Velocity, Gaming, EXO, they still have quite a lot of work to do. And I'm pretty sure with the constant adaptation and the evolution that they're bringing into their place, they're going to be able to do it. But I still feel that they need to get their roles right. I feel FS Esports don't really have their agent selection right yet. Most of these players, they don't belong to the roles that they're playing right now. I still feel that they need to keep on experimenting for the time that they have before season 3 starts. They need to start, experimenting things. They need to see who fits where, who has who has more abilities to just go ahead and pull out from each roles, and just fix things, fix the entire roster moving in over towards season 3, because season 3 is going to get a lot tough with all of these teams like Exploit, Salt, M42 moving in as well in towards both Group A and Group B.
It's going to be a lot more interesting for the side of FS, because they're a squad that are trying to take down the juggernauts of Group A. But in my eyes, I personally do believe Group A is a place where they have a chance of trying to fight their way to the very top. Because in Group B, man, I don't want to talk about that, but at the same time, we do need to talk about the squads that are on Group B. And in a way, for the new kids around the block, Team M42, I don't know how I feel about them. So let's head on down over onto their team profile here and see exactly what they have cooking up for us. But the thing is, Assassin, I'm a bit worried for them. They are a squad that have been able to do a lot, but go up against these juggernauts,
I would just mention this one thing, okay? We can't actually call them new kids around the block because they're not, first of all, they're not kids. Yeah, they might be new for the Gauntlet, but they've been in the FPS tactical shooter from quite a long time. I mean, if you're an OG like me, you would know Venom, you would know Rix, you would know Sam as well. Hyper and Emo, of course, they are new. But yeah, Venom, Rix, Sam, the OGs from the tactical shooter space in the country. And yeah, M42 Esports, man, these guys are off to a great start. In a recent show match, we did see them performing quite dominant against the Sara TEAMXO. So really looking forward to seeing what M42 Esports can do, especially considering the fact that they are in Group B.
Group B is a place where a lot of different dreams are going to be shattered, but at the same time, a lot of dreams can be created as well. It's kind of a group where we know what can happen, but at the same time, it could be really spicy as well. The competition is high on group number B, and I do believe that M42, they need to make massive changes to the way that they do play to try and take down a lot of these juggernauts. But I'm really hopeful to see how they have improved as a squad and how much they're going to be moving on down the line. Because in my eyes, M42, from what I've seen them play, they're a roster that can take down a lot of the juggernauts. They just need to fine-tune their aggressive strategies, because honestly, their defensive strategies, I absolutely adore it, but when it comes down to their aggressive strategies, could require a little bit more work to try and, iron out the edges. So hopefully moving on down the line in Group B, it's going to give them that experience to work things out and possibly head on down over to the playoffs. But now let's head on down over to the team profile for the side of ENIGMA Gaming here, ladies and gentlemen, because ENIGMA. Let's just talk about this squad, Salty. They've
no
been
surprise.
through a lot, and I mean a lot. But at the same time, ENIGMA took down GE, sorry.
That last
in the
name.
Playoffs. Their manager on their side.
High on live. I mean, this guy comes.
It's too good.
He destroys global esports, and like that day, I was shell shocked. Trust me. The video is out there on YouTube. You guys can see my expression on the cam, literally. I mean, I did not expect that to happen, but Team Enigma Gaming, they showed character, and this team always had character. But this roster is also going to change, right? There's going to be massive changes in this roster as well. You talk about raw fuel, this man has been consistently delivering at ACS of 246 throughout the tournament. That's insane, with 500 plus kills, and Hika as well. Now, Hika generally shifts between the Rays and the Sky and tries out a lot of different agents. But then I guess recently he's been playing the Rays much more than he did in his old lineup, with other players like Anti and Rexy coming in. Team Enigma looks strong on paper, and always mention this keyword on paper. They have a decent lineup. But then how this lineup is going to perform, we haven't seen them on the big stage yet. Like I always talk about, for sure you might have great players on paper. You might bring in an all-star team, but then that is not a necessity that that team is going to perform or win you championships every single time. I mean, I get this reference from sports like football, etc., where it's not always necessary with the team that has the strongest lineup is going to win the championship. Team Enigma Gaming, they have a strong lineup, and I expect them to build that synergy up. But how Antidote is going to run this team around, that we need to find out actually.
That's the thing. Ezzy used to be the backbone for the entire squad, and whenever we looked at Enigma, we always looked at Ezzy being that Astra player to enable a lot of the strategies and a lot of the unknown plays that they are known for pretty much. Because Enigma as a squad, they always like to try something a little bit quirky. They always think outside of the box. And with the recent additions of Anti now taking over as the IGL, and with Rexy on their side, I don't know what to expect anymore, Assassin. It feels like this squad could go either way. They could just be the topmost squad that takes it all away, or they could be a squad that will struggle throughout the entirety of the group stages. But hey, it's Enigma for a reason. They're an unknown quantity, and with the recent shifts of their roster, that unknown quantity could just be the thing that throws all the other teams off. But at the same time, that's going to be the side of Enigma for you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's head on down over to the last team for our entirety of the groups before we head on down over to the last phases to see exactly how the teams are going to be seeded into. So let's head on over to ROG Academy and see their team profile here, ladies and gentlemen. And ROG Academy. This is a squad that we have seen in season number 1. They sadly were not able to make it back into season number 2. But now in season number 3, they have made it back. But I don't think that the seedings has favored them whatsoever.
ROG Academy. Well, where should I start? Throughout the qualifiers, these guys had an amazing run, or should I say, Sensei had an amazing run. The guy's just an absolute beast, by the way. You guys better watch out for Sensei if you guys are facing off against him. He's an aim god. He's got amazing movement as well, and ROG Academy. Yeah, I mean, ROG Academy. Sensei is a prodigy in the making, man. I mean, this guy is really, really good, and I'm stressing this much because you guys are going to see it coming as well throughout the entirety of Season 3. ROG Academy, the previous ROG Academy roster, by the way, Cloud9 Gang, did not have the best of the run. Now that we're moving over towards Season 3 with a brand new roster coming out from ROG Academy, things are going to get really good. They're going to get amazing setups. They have an amazing set of players. The entirety of ROG Academy with Bulai, Wonder, Ludra, Equinox, and Sensei moving in. The stats wouldn't speak much because I know for a fact that these stats are from the qualifier stages, but as they're going to be heading on over towards Season 3, the group stages, you guys are going to see ROG Academy. These guys are definitely making it top 5, by the way. You guys can note it down. My words, yep.
ROG Academy going on towards the side of the top 5. Don't count those words just yet, Assassin, because I'm very skeptical about how things are going to be playing out for Group B. I have no idea who's going to be at the top spot. I have no idea who's going to be in the middle. I don't even have any clue who's going to be at the very bottom. That's how bad the situation is for the side of Group B. But we're going to be talking a lot more about that as we head on down over on towards the brackets to get a visual representation of what it all looks like from top to bottom here, Assassin. Actually, Salty, I want you to play for the side of Group A, and I want Assassin to talk about the side of Group B, because he called out that ROG Academy is going to be on that top 5. I don't really know who's going to be on that top 5 anymore. That's how bad the situation is for them. So talk us right through the groups.
I mean, honestly, you know what? At this point, I feel like Group B needs some more playoff spots. Like, I
Oh, they
mean,
do.
top four qualifying to playoffs. It makes no sense because it's just so good. But then we have to talk about Group A as well, and I feel I'm gonna see a good showing from Salt Esports and Reckoning Esports at this point. I have very high expectations from both these two teams, not just because Salt Esports is my namesake, but also they've been performing brilliant in their own circuit,
Ah,
and. So yeah, I mean,
fantastic
Velocity
already.
Gaming, you better watch out. But then Only Friends, Weird Esports, and FS, and as well as Saql. These are the four teams who need to watch out because you have ENIGMA in the mix as well, right? And when you have kind of a difference, when you look at the squad and you think like, all right, there's going to be a disparity in terms of experience that gets into play. Not every team, we have to be very realistic at this point that not every team is going to be a tabletop, or not every team in this mix is going to make it to the playoffs, because we know how they play. They need to grow, and that learning curve is always going to be there. But at this point, you have to always try out to avoid relegation. At the top, for sure, there are teams. Do you look at Velocity, Enigma? These teams, they're going to dominate throughout. Reckoning can pull a rabbit out of the hat and might top the group as well, just like last time. But Salt Esports, I have high expectations. Only Friends, Weird Esports, are Squad, and FS. These are the four teams I'm going to be looking out for some interesting stuff, because we always remember that season 2 was an underdog story. These are the four underdogs that we have in Group A, and I'm expecting something new from them.
Group A is just full of underdogs, other than, of course, Velocity and Reckoning, who are Velocity, Reckoning, and Enigma. We can't really forget about that. These three are the top dogs. We already know what they're capable of. They're the tier one. They're the ones who set the pace for the entirety of Group A. The other ones, they're still the underdogs. They have a lot to prove, and they could just possibly take out the top dogs as well. We never really know, because it's been 1 week. It's been not even been 1 week for a lot of these things. It's been over a month, because a lot of them didn't even make it down over onto the group stages of season number 2. They had a lot of time to work with. They have a lot of footage to watch as well, and hopefully they rewatched all the footage and they have brought something a little bit more different. But now, Assassin, it's your turn. I'm gonna hand over the mic to you, and I'm just gonna lean back and relax and talk us right through.
It's getting hot in here.
Right through Group B. Well, okay. Why do you gotta do this to me, Aggressive?
No.
Well,
That's
anyways.
because you're there. That's because you're the OG. Salty's a little kid.
Well, true that. Well,
Okay, true that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Cool.
Okay. Salty, we can hear your salt later. Assassin, take it away.
Salty, we all love you, man. No shade on that. But yeah, let's move over towards Group B, by the way. Starting off with TEAMXO. Well, no, these guys, not really much to talk about them because everything is just out there. You guys know it. You guys saw the stats. Let's move over towards True Rippers, Valor, Exploit, SHUL, God Particles, M42 Esports, and RG Academy. Now, True Ripper Esports, for a fact that these guys had their own highs and lows, but I think they are gonna, moving over towards season 3, they're gonna have an amazing run because True Rippers, what I feel and what I've heard is that they've got some new tricks up their sleeves as well. So against all of these teams like Exploit, SHUL, M42, ROG, even God Particles for that reason, I feel True Ripper Esports, the way they are going to be setting up their strategy is going to be quite intense. Group B, we've already called it as Group of Death, where we have got all of these amazing teams stacked up on one side. True Rippers, if they don't pick up their game, it's going to be tough for them to just retain their position as well. So hopefully looking forward to seeing what they can do. Team Valor, they've got a new roster now. Not entirely, but yeah, a little bit.
What players?
Things look really promising for the side of Team Valor, by the way, because you can't forget the fact that Team Valor is one of those teams that also beat the side of GE. So yeah, Team Valor, immense potential, amazing firepower. Combine that with the big brain play coming out from the side of Strokey and gang, even Hunter, by the way. Yeah, it's going to be truly intense to see what Team Valor can do. Exploit, SHUL. It is going to be a similar story again. Exploit, what I feel is that HSB and gang, these guys are going to actually rule over Group B, and they have the potential to go ahead and take down the juggernauts or behemoths like the side of Team EXO as well. So you can sort of see Team Exploit in the top 3 throughout Group B. So definitely look out for them as well. Their games are going to be an absolute banger ones. So don't forget to Yeah, I know, right? I can't wait to see Shooter just
Yeah.
popping heads across the server, and yeah, to just have the to just have that to have that potential, right? You just gotta go ahead and have such amazing teammates and team exploit. They have that. I mean, Shooter has got amazing teammates that he can rely on to just set him up for success. So really looking forward to seeing what the side of Team Exploit can do. SATUL Esports, they're going to be getting under the new banner now, and they no longer are Team T69. So, yep, our moderators, they have some work. They have to remove that Team T69 logo from the esports fan tier, from the membership. They have to add in Team SATUL Esports. It's going to be an intense one, and I can't wait to see what Binks and a gang can do. Again, SATUL Esports, I feel as if they no longer are going to be that chill squad that we used to know. I feel
Yep.
as if under SATUL Esports,
Yeah.
these guys are going to actually pick up their game, and they're going to actually put in time. They're going to allocate their resources. They're going to funnel their resources into putting up nothing but the best from the side of SATUL Esports, because there's going to be a lot of eyes on them, and pressure's going to be building up as well. So these guys can no longer be the chill squad that they were under T69. They're going to have to go ahead and pick up their game as well. So looking forward to that. Apart from that, I feel the team that is that we are supposed to talk about is Malaria 42 Esports, M42 Esports. These guys are actually going to be sort of interesting, because
Yeah.
we know for a fact that these guys are the OGs in the scene, and I really want to see what Venom and the rest of the squad can bring on the board, because M42 Esports is the new hype, and as they move it over towards season 3 of the Gauntlet, this team, I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do. I'm not going to go ahead and speculate. I'm actually going to wait and watch what they've got in store, because we all know we are all new to them in terms of their Valorant game. I mean, of course, these guys have had tremendous success in other tactical shooters, but in the game of Valorant, we are yet to see what kind of a stat sheet they're gonna give us throughout season 3. So definitely have a look out for the side of Malaria 42 Esports as well. But with that, we pretty much sum up Group B right there, Aggressive.
Yeah, Group B summary. It's really hard to summarize a group
Yep.
that is this incredible, and the fact that it's a group of death. I don't think anyone in chat are going to be disregarding that. It's going to be a tough fight for all of the squads in the entirety of Group B. We cannot even predict who's going to be in that number 1 position. But for the side of Group A, I personally do believe that the top 3 spots, we can kind of pretty much say that who's going to be there. It's going to be ENIGMA, Reckoning, and Velocity, or maybe one of the teams down below, the underdogs of this story, could just catch them off guard and give them a 1-2 knockout punch and then take them down a couple of pegs. You never really know. That's the beauty of the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is just so massive. There's 7 games for every single team. It's going to be a massive marathon for every single one of these squads. And they need to show consistency. If they're not able to show consistency, they're not going to be the ones to send themselves over on towards the playoffs. That's why the brackets are here. That's why the group stages exist. You need to showcase that you deserve to be here. You deserve to win out on that beautiful trophy and take yourself to that number 1 position. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be all for the brackets. Everything has been set up. The stage has been set. The teams have been prepped up and ready. And we're going to be coming on back to you guys on the 10th. Don't really forget about that. Make sure to mark your calendars. 10th, ladies and gentlemen, 4 p.m. The first initial game is going to be going underway. And I'm really excited for that one for sure. And started saying on off, it's going to be your boy Aggressive, joined by Assassin and Salty. That's going to be all that we have for you for now. But before we do head on down off, make sure to check all the links down below on the description. If you want to get yourself a Ballistix, man, if you want to get yourself a Crucial SSD, you got to get the best that you can possibly grab. All the links are down below in the description. Check it all out. And as you're going to be down there, make sure to scan this QR code down here as well. It's right below me, man. It's right below Salty, actually. Scan that QR code.
You have a 99.99% chance of hitting a headshot. So
okay, so this is not a Dettol ad. We don't do it here. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's all that we have for you for today for the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Ballistix and Crucial. And our apparel partners are going to be none other than 656. For now, it's going to be us signing on off, and we're going to be back with you on the 10th, 4 p.m. Make sure to set your calendars and dates with a Tec Gauntlet. We'll catch you all then.